Right, so I finally got to test the Raspberry Pi Zero. Here it is. This is, once again, this is the Zero, Raspberry Pi Zero. That just came out and on the 26th of November 2015, and I got the first batch. The store opened, and I got it at Microcenter, and the store opened and it sold out in one day. Right, so first I made a SD card, and it's a mess here. SD card, and so I put it in there, and I noticed that they got rid of the clicky thing there that pops out, the spring that unloads the SD card if you click on it. I think people complain about that, so now it's just won't come out if you press it. One thing I did was I soldered a connector here, as you can see, this little connector here. I'm waiting for it. This has a HDMI, but it's a mini HDMI. I have a lot of micro HDMI cables that go to full HDMI, but I don't have any minis, so I'm ordering one at Amazon for about $6. But until then, I soldered a little connector here, a little header for composite, because there's a little thing marked TV. If you can see that, it says TV. I don't know if you can see that. TV. Little thing marked TV there, so I soldered one on the back. It's a little pin sticking out now. The back is flat, so if you so I might have to just clip it if I don't do anything else with it. But anyway, soldered the connector there. I tested it, and the pin to the right, one next to the little U3 there, that's the ground, so it's negative. I tested it out with a meter. It's tied to the shield of the USB, so that's negative. The shield is negative. Shield's negative. That's the signal, composite signal. So that's what you want to do. So you want to connect a red pin, a red wire here, and a black wire to the one on the right. So I made a cable, and I got this at eBay, on eBay. Shipped from China. It took like a month to get here. And so makes it starting to get bulkier now. Okay, so I got that connected to a composite cable, and it goes to a monitor there, a composite monitor that is used for cars. It's 12 volts, powered by 12 volts. I got it connected here. So what else? For power, you plug in the USB power here, and this one is USB host, and you plug in one of these OTG cables, OTG cable or OTG adapter. And at the other end, I have a little thing that's for the adapter for the Logitech keyboard. This guy, it's a keyboard and touchpad, so you don't have to have both. So that way you don't have to connect the keyboard and mouse, because it's got. So let's plug that in there. And the power, I got a 1 amp power supply. It doesn't use much, so I'm just going to use a 1 amp power supply. It's off right now, so I'm just going to plug it in anyway. So I'm just going to plug it in before I power it up. And then you're supposed to hold it, if it's already on, you should hold it by the edge, so you don't short anything out or cause any errors. That's all you need to plug in. So let's flip it on. Just make sure it's stable here first. You can still see it. Alright. So I'm just going to flip on the power. And alright, so the monitor goes on. You can see. The activity light, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. See the activity light, a little green activity light here. Activity light going, and you can see, and that's the Raspbian. I just finished downloading the latest Raspbian, dated 2015 November 21. And let's see, it's booting right up. It's a little slower than the Pi 2 or the Pi B. I think it's actually a little slower, but definitely slower than the Pi 2. So the GUI's up, and I said the activity light's still flapping there, still green, still, and there's no other lights there. There's no power lights, so if there's anything wrong, it's going to be a little more difficult to diagnose because there's no other lights there. It's only a green activity light, which is still on. So mouse, you can see it's tiny because it's composite. I don't have a cable, so it's kind of barely. Yeah, everything seems to work, and it's still green. And what's the temperature of that? It's barely warm. Let's check that out. Let's check the temperature of that. Not bad. It's 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees C. Let's check again. Not bad. So the highest temperature I got was 90 degrees or 32 C. Not bad. And it's cool, warm to the touch, the CPU. And notice I'm touching the plastic, not the pins. And it's still doing something. I don't know what it's doing. Alright, so let's do a shutdown, and we'll see what else we can do. So I got the SD card, you got the, showed you the composite, and so let's test the power. Just one more thing. Alright, so let's do a shutdown and see how that works. I'm gonna have to kind of guess that must be the shutdown, and it should prompt you. That's probably shut down. It's hard to see because it's the display is less than quarter VGA, and so it's off. And the activity light is still flashing, and it's probably off now. Alright, it's off now, so I think I can unplug it now. Alright, so let's check out how much power it uses. And I got what I did was I modified a USB cable, an extension here, and I modified a little, cut here, made a tap, and I put a multimeter there. Okay, so let's test out how much power it uses. So I'm just gonna switch it on, and it uses 100 milliamps, maybe 150 milliamps, 180 milliamps so far. Okay, when it's powering up, 200 milliamps. And that's with a keyboard and everything. Alright, that's not very fair. I'm gonna unplug that. I'm just gonna wait for it to settle down a little. 100 milliamps. So let's unplug that. Probably unplug it this end. And it makes no difference. There's very little difference actually. So with or without the keyboard. So this is without the keyboard is 90 milliamps. With the keyboard, it's twice as much. So I'm gonna shut it down and use a different. Actually, it's not necessary. Completely remove that. Let's see, I should probably use it. Alright, let's completely remove that, so it's just a composite. I'm going to remove the composite also. So without the composite uses like 10 milliamps. Adds like 10 milliamps to it. You can see. So with nothing but the power connected, okay, nothing else, power and the SD card running a GUI, it's about 80 milliamps maybe, approximately 80 milliamps. And then with the composite, it's 90 milliamps, and with the keyboard, we'll go up again. Guess I'm gonna need it anyway. And what if I use? So you're gonna need a keyboard. 150 milliamps, 110 milliamps. Alright, so I've heard someone measuring that it uses like 65 milliamps, but I kind of doubt that. It's not, as you can see, it's not going below 80 milliamps, but still it uses very little that you could just power it off with a battery pack. Right, so yeah, so that's my initial view of the Raspberry Pi Zero. Thanks for watching. Alright, just do one more shutdown. And guessing that's the shutdown based on memory, and that's the position of the OK key. So I'm gonna wait for the HDMI cable. I think there's no audio, that's the only problem. Alright, and it's completely off. And at off state, it uses 20 milliamps maybe when it's off. Alright, thanks for watching.